takes away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. One good. There's something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. You hide behind walls of Jericho. Your lies will come tumbling. Deny my place and time. You squander wealth that's mine. The light will shine so brightly it will blind you. Because there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was wrong. One good. There's something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough, but we know better, just look them in the eyes and say, wanna do it anyway, wanna do it anyway, wanna do it anyway, wanna do it anyway. Something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. But you're doing me wrong, so wrong. Because of my pride was gone. Oh no, oh no. Something inside so strong. Something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Yes, something inside so strong. What is that something inside so strong? For me, it is my faith in God. This evening, I'm going to talk about the pain of divorce, and I'll give some tips on how to survive during this. I said turbulent season in quotes. Why do I say turbulent? Because it is supposed to be a time of celebration, a time of jubilation, families coming together, sharing laughter, reminiscing on the past, on the year gone by, or the year just about to end. But it can also be a very challenging time for people who are facing divorce, who have been through divorce recently, who are in a rocky marriage and they are terrified that the marriage may not survive, may not make it, because they might as well live separately, because they may be married but they are lonely. Divorce hurts. Divorce hurts. It is very painful. And I found out from experience that there isn't much help out there. We talk about a lot of things in church. We address a lot of things in organizations. There are so many help books out there, but not much about divorce. It is a hush hush topic. We don't talk about it that much. It is changing. It is changing. People are beginning to talk about it, but it's the pain of divorce I want to address and maybe give tips. Hopefully, it will help somebody to go through this process of divorce and coming out on the other side whole, sane, in one piece, and not falling apart. Divorce is a form of loss. As you will lose a loved one, it is a form of loss because you lose someone you connected with at a deeper level than anybody else. This other person saw you at your most vulnerable. They saw you naked, both figuratively and literally. Now, out of the blue, out of nowhere, sometimes we ignore the signs. You're left on your own. You had shared dreams and aspirations, and all these are now in tatters. It feels like the world has collapsed on you. Divorce is very painful. It is a very scary period, and it hurts on such a deep level that at the time of the divorce, you may not even find the vocabulary, the words to describe the pain you are going through. Divorce is painful. We don't hear much about the mental, emotional torture of divorce. Some don't survive it. They either die from the literal and metaphorical heartbreak, broken heart. We hear broken heart. Some people don't make it. Their heart just can't handle it. They may not die physically, but emotionally they may be dead. Mentally they may be dead. Some don't make it. Some don't make it mentally, and unfortunately, they end up in mental institutions for the long term. Some, unfortunately, sad to say, commit suicide. That is how painful divorce is. So, what do you do if you're going through divorce during this holiday season? The first I will say is allow yourself, give yourself permission to mourn, to weep, to wail like you've lost a loved one to death. Scream, shout, wail, let the pain out. Don't keep it in there. Because what will happen is if you resist that grieving process, that acknowledging that you are hurting, acknowledging that you are in pain, you refuse to heal. If you don't face the pain now, the pain will resurface when you seem to have settled. It could show up as anger outbursts. You know, the slightest thing, and you're angry and you're screaming and shouting, and you yourself, you wonder what's going on because the pain has not been dealt with at the deeper level of your soul. It's even worse when you have kids and your marriage is falling apart, you're facing divorce. Because you don't want them to see you cry. In such instances, this is what I will offer you. Go out for a walk, find a place and cry, weep, mourn, let the pain out. Find a place where you can be vulnerable. Just cry and say, this hurts, this is painful. If you're a Christian, go to God, cry out to Him, complain to Him, wail to Him. God, I am in pain, I am hurting. Why does this hurt so much? Let the pain out. When you scream and let that pain out, there's a word I learned during my divorce. It says it's cathartic. It is cathartic. And what is cathartic? I found the meaning: providing psychological relief through the open expression of strong emotions, causing catharsis. So it's providing psychological relief through the open expression of strong emotions. Divorce raises strong emotions at the deeper level of your soul: anger, bitterness, confusion, frustration. Your mind is in a fog. It's hazy. You don't know what to think. 1 minute you're crying, the next minute you're laughing. One minute you're okay, the next minute you just jump up. You think somebody's coming to, somebody's following you. And the mind plays tricks on you. You might think somebody's watching you, somebody's following you, somebody's probably trying to break your door. So by letting that pain out, it is cathartic because the pain of divorce is on a psychological level. Divorce hurts more than people realize. The pain is incredible and it is indescribable. It causes severe pain and overwhelming emotions. Divorce causes severe pain and overwhelming emotions. Divorce is a shock to one's system. The brain goes into overdrive, not knowing where to start, what to do, how to start. There's a confusion and a fog on the mind. Divorce is a period of loneliness and isolation. There is anger, there's frustration, and dare I say, bitterness. And the thing is, when kids are involved, you're not only worrying about your emotions and how you're feeling, you're worrying about the kids as well. How are they handling it? How are they dealing with the pain of the divorce? What is going through their minds? So that there's a pile on top of your own pain. You may feel like a failure, like you have let your kids down. All these feelings are normal. All these feelings of anger, frustration, confusion, bitterness, they are normal during the period of divorce. Don't play superhuman, trying to hold everything together like all is well. It's even worse when you belong to a community. Maybe, for instance, your external family might think, oh, you brought shame to the family name by going through a divorce. That even adds another layer of pain onto the pain of your divorce. You may feel isolated by such communities. And like I said earlier, it's a very isolating, lonely period. But I will reiterate the point. Don't deny that you are hurting. Don't deny that you're hurting. Don't deny that what you're going through is painful. Don't try to show the other person that you're okay. It's okay. Be your vulnerable self. It is a period. It will end. Divorce doesn't define who you are. It is a period. That pain, that confusion, that fog on the mind, that frustration, just be patient with yourself. That too shall pass. That process, that period will end. So don't deny you are hurting. And I'll add this, don't start a new relationship. Don't start a new relationship. There will be the temptation to, especially during the season where everybody, families are together, couples are together. It seems like they're laughing, they're happy. You will feel lonely, and there'll be the temptation to want to start a relationship. My advice from my personal experience, from counseling people, I would say don't start a new relationship because you're vulnerable, your emotions are raw. Your head is not in the right place to make the right decision when it comes to a major decision like a relationship. So don't jump into a relationship whilst you're hurting and you haven't processed the pain. I will say this. You are not the only person going through this emotional roller coaster during divorce. You might think I'm such a strong person of faith. I shouldn't be feeling angry. Keyword should. That adds a lot of pressure onto us. Oh, I'm a woman of faith. I'm a man of faith. I'm a preacher. I am a prophetess. I am this. I am that. So I shouldn't be feeling anger or frustration or bitterness or anxiety or stress as a result of this divorce. No. Allow yourself to feel the pain. Allow yourself to feel the hurt. You're not the only person, so don't feel ashamed. It happens too. Nobody goes into marriage with the intention to divorce, but divorce happens. So what I am doing here is to offer you some support to go through that period of pain and hurt as a result of divorce. You may go through stress and anxiety, depression, loneliness, confusion of the mind. It's all normal. It's not just, you're not the only person going through that. It's all normal. So take the heat off yourself. And sometimes you see, ego is a very interesting thing. Maybe you have been defined in society as a result of your marriage. You know, so and so, Mrs. This, or this is the husband of so and so. So, and that has given you a certain status and a certain position. So the ego comes into play, and you still want to play it cool, like all is well, everything is okay. Allow yourself to feel the pain. Yes, you will feel shame. It's normal. You are human. You're not superhuman. Allow yourself to feel the shame. Allow yourself to feel the pain. Allow yourself to feel the hurt. I remember growing up, one of my mentors, he's a pastor, he said his favorite phrase in the Bible is, and it came to pass. And it came to pass. Whatever you're going through now, it will pass. Just be patient. Just be patient. It will pass. There's a psalm I'd like to read, Psalm 142, verse 6 to 7a. Listen to my cry, for I am in desperate need. Rescue me from those who pursue me, for they are too strong for me. Set me free from my prison, that I may praise your name. What is this prison that David is talking about? The prison of the mind. You will go through mental torture, such pain, and you think, when will this mind just rest so I can have peace? All you can feel, this is how I described mine. All I could feel was like something was literally sitting here. I couldn't feel it, I couldn't touch it, but it was just there. And I wanted a relief from whatever that was sitting on my mind. That is the prison, I believe, David is talking about. Yes, when you're going through the pain of divorce, you're a Christian, but you may not be able to pray. Again, this is what I will offer you. Play worship songs. Play worship songs. You may not be able to pray, but just sit there and cry before God. Pour your heart out. Just weep. Tell him, God, I'm hurting. Cry out to him. David said, listen to my cry, for I am in desperate need. Cry out to him. Don't behave and pretend like all is well. You're hurting only yourself. Feel the pain. Allow yourself to go through that grieving process where you be angry. 1 minute you're happy, the next minute you are sad, you're confused, you don't want to get out of bed. It is normal. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't think me, a whole me going through this. It's a whole you, but it's happened to you. Deal with it. You are human. That is not the time to try to figure out the what and the, as human as we are, that's what we do. I did that. I want to search. I am an analytical person. So you can imagine my mind went into overdrive, trying to figure out, trying to process, what is it? What did I do? What happened? What and what? And that is the prison I believe David is talking about. I felt so alone. I felt so isolated. I worried about the friends I had lost because mine happened early 40s. and had built relationships over the years. I was like, where am I going to start from to make new friendships, new relationships, you know? Where do I go from here? There is all that. Because as humans, we like to have a certain kind of control, you know? So you want to be able to plan this, do that, go here, go there. But unfortunately, you have to accept the reality of your situation. When I went through divorce, I felt worthless. I felt hopeless. I felt like a failure. I went through such mental torture and agony. I didn't see any hope in my future. I wanted to die. Yes, me you see here smiling and encouraging you. I wanted to die. Because when my marriage ended, suddenly my career also seemed to be over. Money to buy food was a challenge. So that added to that feeling of worthlessness. I wanted to die. I wanted all to end because I felt like, what is the point of living? I hit rock bottom. I am an encourager by nature, as you can see now. Very strong willed and have a strong faith in God. But it was a very difficult moment in my life. Christmases were hard. As I mentioned, I lost my job and couldn't afford to put food on the table, so let alone Christmas presents for the kids. But here I am today, with the help of God, with enough strength to encourage you to look up and hold on to your faith because it does get better in time. It does. It does get better in time. Be patient. I saw a quote, which I've said it so many times. It says, divorce is a marathon, not a sprint. Divorce is a marathon and not a sprint. So don't rush to get over it on the other side so quickly. Be patient. Take your time, one day at a time, moment by moment. Take your time and work through it. Give yourself some time. So, what can you do during this season? Don't isolate yourself. That's all you will want to do, just to isolate yourself, be in your bed, cry, cry, and then cry some more. Yes, cry, but don't isolate yourself. Don't be by yourself for too long. Because this thing here, this mind here, it will have a field day with you. Don't isolate yourself. Don't worry too much about people judging you. They will, but don't focus on that. People will judge you, but don't focus on that. It might be challenging to even pray. Just play worship songs to lift your spirits up. I've already mentioned that. To use that time to rediscover yourself. What I've found is when we get married, all those hobbies and interests we had as kids, we tend to put them on the back burner. We forget about all those hobbies, all those interests, all those aspirations we had. Use this time to rediscover yourself, your hobbies, your likes and dislikes as an individual. I didn't even know, but I got into photography. I bought that point and shoot camera and I was shooting photos of I love old cars because I was raised on old cars, old classic cars. I know a carburetor, so those listening, I know what a carburetor is. I know how to change the oil, all that new way of doing things. So I just went on a walk, taking photos. I joined walking groups. When you do that, you take yourself away from that mental torture. Get to know you again. Get to know you. Who were you before you got married? What were you like before you got married? Maybe go through some old photos, in your teens and in your young adult years, and just remember who you were before you got married. Get to know you again. What were the things you used to enjoy as a kid that you put on hold for the sake of your marriage? Revisit those things. Join groups. Be bold. Join groups. Yes, it may not seem, your confidence will be knocked, your self-esteem, your self-worth will be knocked. But the key is the first step. Once you take the first step, That's it. Join groups, be bold, take the plunge. Knitting, aerobics, gym, writing, photography, hiking, walking groups. The list is endless. And now there are items on the internet that you can join. There are groups you can join online. This group, Meet Me. There are so many groups you can join on Meet Me. Join groups so that it is not just you and your kids in the situation at home. It gives your mind a break. The other thing is, don't try to numb the pain with drugs or alcohol. Don't try to numb the pain with drugs or alcohol. Men tend to numb pain with drugs. Men tend to numb pain with drugs. They feel like when they do that, so when the drugs wear off, then the pain is there. Then they repeat the cycle. That is when the addiction comes in. Then it will be difficult to break that addiction. Some turn to the bottle. I know of a wonderful lady. She turned to the bottle. It took the grace of God for her to break that addiction, because the pain and the situation will still be there. You need to face it and go through it. The alcohol and the drugs will not take the pain away. The alcohol and the drugs and whatever it is, you get addicted to food or whatever it is. Some get addicted to sex because they want to feel like they are wanted, they are worthy, they are needed. So some move from woman to woman or men to men. Suddenly they're like, heck, I'm just going to go all out. It is a form of addiction. You feel like you might think you are hurting the other person, or you're hurting yourself. You're not hurting the other person, you're hurting yourself. Like I said, it may seem too large, too huge to face that pain and hurt. And the phrase that kills us that makes the healing process so difficult is, what would people say? Or what would people think? This is what I say to you. People will say whatever it is they want to say. People will think whatever they want to think. But at the end of the day, it is about your well-being. It is about your mental well-being. Forget about what people will say. Forget about what people will think. Then my question is, how do you know what people are thinking? You're not a mind reader, are you? So get that phrase out of your head and go through the process of the pain. Face it, feel the pain, sit with it, cry, be angry. If you have a pillow, you can rip the pillow apart. You can go to a park, throw stones, just scream your head out. Get that pain, that anger, that frustration. You will feel like you've been let down. It's okay. You're not the only person feeling that. Don't feel like, oh, as I'm saying, oh, I'm a Christian, I shouldn't be feeling that. Get that out of your mind. Get that out of your vocabulary. You are human. Feel the anger, feel the pain. Don't numb it with sex, with food, with drinks, with alcohol. Don't do that, because even after that, the pain will still be there. Then it becomes a cycle. Then you have another problem to address, addiction. How do you get out of that addiction? Don't make divorce your identity. Don't let divorce define you. Don't let divorce define your confidence, your self-worth, your identity, who you are as a person. The fact that you are divorced doesn't make you less of a person. If down the line you realize that, okay, I make mistakes here and there, learn from the mistakes. If by God's grace you're able to reconcile, praise be to God. If not, learn from the mistakes, forgive yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. We are our own worst critics. We will give other people the benefit of the doubt. When it comes to us, we are so hard on ourselves. We are so hard on ourselves. Let go being so tough or being hard on yourself. Worse, if you are a perfectionist, it's happened. You're not the only person. Don't let that define you as a person. And my final point is, seek professional help. I can't stress this enough. Seek professional help. This is, I've shared my story and my experience so many times, but I'll repeat it for those who may never have heard it before. And before I sign off, if you have questions, if you have comments, please type it in and I will answer it. If you have questions, okay, how do I do this? What do I do that? Type your questions and I will answer them. Or even after, if you type your questions or send me a message via Messenger, I will address your questions, I will answer them. Seek professional, keyword professional help. There are so many people with counseling title in our community. When I say our community, I mean the Afro-Caribbean community. They may have positions in church, but they are not professional counselors, and they might make the situation worse. You go to them and they might make you feel like you might feel condemned. You probably come out even worse off than you went in to see them. So seek professional help. Counseling. In the UK, you can have up to, as at the time I went for counseling, you could have 8 sessions for free. You see. And in the counseling, oh my goodness, I wept like a baby because things came to the surface. It's all about the rediscovering yourself. Things came to the surface that I didn't realize were all there. I always say everything goes back to childhood. Whatever we are doing now, the source is our childhood. So by going to counseling, it helped me understand and process some of my choices, some of my decisions, some of my actions or inactions that made me go through what I went through. So I can't recommend professional help enough. Seek professional help. Don't feel shame. You may be a pastor, you may be an elder. Don't feel like, oh, how can a pastor go to, as we said, an unbelieving counselor? Just as you go to see a doctor for your physical ailment, you're going to see a counselor who is a doctor in this sense for your mental ailment. It's the same. We believe in faith as Christians, but still, when we are sick physically, we see doctors. So when you're seeing a psychiatrist, a counselor, it's the same thing. Don't feel shame. Don't feel like, oh, I'm a Christian, I can't see an unbelieving counselor. They are trained to counsel you, to support you, to help you. I am a trained counselor. If you reach out, I will counsel you virtually. Well, Omicron, so I can't say in persons, but we can do it virtually. So you can send me a message via my messenger, or you can reach me on, I'm trying to find my number. I don't know it offhand. So bear with me. 07415 956 589. I repeat, 07415 956 589. This is a UK number, so you can find, I think international is +44. Then you continue with the number or drop me a message via Messenger. I will counsel you. I have a team of professionals on our books. We will counsel you, we'll help you through the process. Don't suffer in silence. Yes, the Christmas season is challenging. Don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. Don't commit suicide. This too shall pass. Like I said, my mentor, when I was young, my mentor is a pastor. He said his favorite phrase in the Bible is, and it came to pass. This too shall pass. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the shame. Let go of the judgment. Do the best you can in spite of all the challenges and difficulties, and enjoy your Christmas season. I hope this has been of some help. I pray it has been help. It has been helpful. Don't suffer in silence. Reach out for help. You are not defined by divorce. This too shall pass. Have a wonderful Christmas. Yes, it might be difficult, but try to have a wonderful Christmas. Don't isolate yourself. Link up with other people, virtually, in person, if you are able to. God bless you wherever you are. Take care of your mental well being. Take care of yourself during this period. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bye bye.